Hi, everybody. My name is Colleen Menning, and I am a paparazzi independent consultant. And I am here to show you some a new way to organize your jewelry for your paparazzi business. Um, so it used to be, years ago when I started paparazzi, um, I was I was not sure how to organize my jewelry. There's so many different ways out there that will work for people, but I think I finally found a way that is really easy and really fast in trying to find your jewelry, fill your orders, things like that. So I want to show you this process that I have, or the system that I have, and maybe it'll work for you, maybe it won't. Maybe you already have a system that's really great. But this one works for me. It works excellent for a large inventory, but you can also scale it down for a small inventory also. So when I first started paparazzi in 2014, um, I started by taking a little tiny tag and making up my own SKU number for my jewelry. And I would put a little tiny sticker on there. Like if I got, say, 6 different bracelets, I would put B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, and so on and so forth. And then I do the same for earrings. I do E1, E2. Well, that proved to be super time consuming. I also put it into an Excel spreadsheet so that I could keep track of what I bought. And it was just so time consuming that eventually I stopped doing it. I think I got up to maybe 5 or 6, maybe 1,000 numbers. And I was like, this is too much. I can't keep up anymore. It's just too many pieces of jewelry to keep track of. So that's what I did when I first started. And then I decided that I wanted to organize my items by style. So I put all of my necklaces in a bin, all of my bracelets, all of my earrings, and trying to find something that way was super difficult as well, because I'd have to sift through and organize, or dig through the bins, and it wasn't organized in any way. It was just all thrown into a bin by style. So if I needed to look for one particular necklace, I would have to dig through all my necklaces. So that didn't work very well for me, not once my inventory started growing. Okay, so if you only have, a couple hundred pieces and you need to um, dig through that much jewelry, that might work for you for right now. But once you start getting a bigger inventory, it's near impossible. um, so then I was selling on Facebook, and then I was also selling on at events, in-person events. So I would take a lot of my jewelry out of the bags, hanging them on my event boards, or putting on my necklace busts, things like that. So I took them out of the package. Um, so when I was selling on Facebook, if somebody bought, a particular item, let's use this for instance, it's called Locked in Love. Okay, so say somebody bought this on Facebook from me. Well, if it's hanging on my event boards, I don't know what it's called anymore. And Facebook, I had the names because I needed to keep track of them somehow, to know what I was looking for if somebody bought it, right? So my event stuff, it was just impossible to keep track of the event stuff versus Facebook stuff. And I would end up selling too many of these because I'd sell one at an event and I didn't know it because I wasn't keeping track of my inventory at that point. So at that point, I decided anything that I sell in person needs to just be separate. Keep that as a separate inventory from what you sell online. Okay, it will make your life so much easier. But then, again, when I posted on Facebook, I would need to be able to find this piece of jewelry besides it just being a green necklace. I would have to sift through all my necklaces to look for the actual piece. And if you leave it in the package, it's really hard to tell what that is, right? So then I started putting my jewelry in by alphabetically in bins, alphabetically by style. So all of my necklaces would go in one bin, and then I would alphabetize those. My bracelets, earrings, rings, they still got just tossed into a bin, not alphabetized because they were smaller pieces. I didn't have as much, but the necklaces I left in the package and alphabetized those. It made it a lot easier to find them. So when somebody bought this necklace on Facebook, I could look under the L for Locked in Love and be able to find that necklace. Um, Bracelets, earrings, I still had to dig through until I found it, but everything was left in the package at that point and put into bins. And then when I posted them on Facebook, I would post it with the name of the jewelry so that I could still find it. Okay. And that worked really, really great for a long time. But then as I started getting more and more inventory, I'm up to, I think, over 16,000 pieces right now. I was running out of room. I was running out of room and I was still having to dig for stuff. And I needed to find a better way. It was taking a long time to fill my orders. And I just knew there's got to be an easier way. So I decided to go with the SKU numbers. And it was super scary changing from the name and having it alphabetized because I knew I could find stuff that way, to go from that to a SKU number, because then I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know what the name of anything is. I'm not going to know what it's called. So how am I going to find it? So it took a little bit of convincing for me to decide to go with the SKU number, but it is so much easier. And I'm going to show you how I do it now. And I can tell you, I can show you, here's some packages. Oops, hold on. My cord is stuck. Can you see these packages right here? All of these packages right here, I think there's about 23 of them. It took me about an hour to fill those. Okay, so it really does go a lot faster. It would take me triple that time to fill this amount of jewelry before using the SKU number. So what I do now is, so Paparazzi already provides us with a SKU number. I don't know if you can see that. I know my camera is not the greatest, but it already provides us with a SKU number right here. Okay, so, and a barcode. So why not use what Paparazzi's already given us? And now Paparazzi actually is providing us with a CSV file of our orders, so we can download those and upload them into a website or a spreadsheet or whatever you are going to use for keeping track of your inventory. So they use the SKU number. So I would highly recommend just using the SKU that they provide us. And that's what I've done. So with their SKU number, it's got four digits, a dash, 4 digits, a dash, 3 numbers at the end, and then X. Well, the XX can change, but these 3 numbers at the very, very end are what I use to organize my jewelry. Now, those 3 numbers are unique to each piece. So I could have 6 of these, and they are all going to be number 207. So when I get a box of jewelry, number 207, this particular necklace, is going to go into my box that is labeled 207. Okay, so then when I sell this piece of jewelry, I have the SKU number in the post. When I post on Facebook, I put that SKU number in the post with the name and a description, but I do use, you don't have to put all of it, but put the SKU number, because then when somebody buys it, you can look at that SKU number, look at number 207, and know exactly where to go get it to find it. Okay, now I also use Shopify and I use comments sold. So I'm not going to talk much about comments sold because that is a little bit different than, but Shopify is a really great platform for just keeping track of your inventory. Even if you don't have a web store, you can still keep track of your inventory that way. They do have a program, or I mean a plan. It's called Shopify Lite. It's like $9 a month. And you can upload your CSV files from Paparazzi into that, and you will have an inventory database of all the jewelry that you have in stock and how much, what you've bought. Then you can enter your quantities and have an actual inventory, okay? I'm gonna show you how to do that here in just a few minutes. So let's talk about how to physically organize the jewelry first, okay? So when I get a box of jewelry in from Paparazzi, I open it up, I sort it out, and I put all of my pieces together. Like, so if I bought 6 of these, I take all 6 of these, and I check it off, of course, on my invoice. I take one, and I put it in my little basket over here, and that basket is what I will be showing on my live videos. The other 5, I will put directly into my inventory bin, my storage bin. Okay, so that's the only time I have to touch this piece of jewelry until I sell them. There's no more putting them in a bin to file by color or by style. You know, they just go right into the bin, and I don't have to worry about showing them on Facebook or a live video or anything like that. I have one, and that is it that I show on video, okay? So, and of course I do that because I use comment sold too, but you don't need to keep all of them out to be able to show what you have on video. So these items would go right into my bin, and I'm going to show you my bin system. So with my bins, I'm going to take this down and I'm going to show you what I have here. Get my cord untangled. Sorry. What I have here is, now mine is a rolling rack system. If I can back this up a little bit. You can see that my shelving units move. They are on a track system, okay? You don't have to have this type of system, this fancy track thing. You can use, you can use bookcases up against the wall. You can use this type of rack system on casters. You can use them against the wall if you want to. Now what I have done, and I'll show you here, on my rack system, you can see there's 2 boxes, okay? That way I can have them 2-sided. So here's this side of my bins, and then I can move it. And my cord's not long enough. There's the other side of that same bin, okay? So you can see it's 2-sided. My little webcam only goes so far, sorry. So there you go. I've got 2 sides. This is one shelf here, and then this is another shelf that is also 2-sided, and you can see one box here, one box there, okay? So 2-sided is really cool because you can use every bit of space. But if you were to have this shelf up against a wall, you just get deeper boxes, okay? You could get deeper boxes. Now, I'm going to show you my box here. So you can see this is number 181, okay? And each piece of jewelry, or each box, has one number, okay? So this is 181. Anything that ends in 181 is in this box. It's super easy to just pull it right out and dig through that box to find what you need, okay? And I'm going to put my camera back for a second. I'm going to show you just how easy that is, okay? So if I'm looking for a pair of gold earrings that ends in 181, again, that would be on the SKU, the last 3 digits on your SKU number. If I'm looking for a pair of gold earrings that end in 181, I would pull this box down, and I'm literally looking through just a few pieces here. Now they can all be different. Like I've got silver necklaces that end in 181. I have a brass necklace that ends in 181. There's a purple one that ends in 181. Here's some silver bracelets that end in 181. And guess what? Here's the gold earrings that end in 181 that I was looking for to fill my order. Okay, so you literally, yes, they're going to be a mix of things in here. What you might have, you're going to have rings, earrings, bracelets, everything in this box. But the likeliness of having like tons of gold earrings to look through is very slim. Okay, you're gonna maybe have 1, 2, maybe 3 different styles of something, and that's if you have a huge inventory in these boxes. Now you can see too, that's pretty empty. There's not really a lot of stuff to dig through in this box. And my boxes are, I want to say they are, let's see, my shelves are 24 inches. So it's a 12-inch box deep, 12-inch deep by 6 inches wide, or I think so, 6 inches. I should probably measure that. Now, the nice thing about this though is you don't have to go with my measurements. I'm going to show you what mine is, but I also have 24-inch shelves. Okay, you don't have to get 24-inch. You can get 18-inch shelves. You can get just a bookcase, but measure what your bookcase or whatever unit you have, measure what box will fit and utilize all your space. If you see how I have, this goes all the way to the very top of the shelf, not much room in there. I utilize every little bit of space, and that has allowed me to add tons of shelving on here, so I can have one number per box. Now, with a smaller inventory, you don't have to have one number per box. You can have maybe 5 or 10 numbers per box. And it really depends on the size of your box as well. So, you know, utilize your space the best that you can to fit whatever unit you have and get the boxes that fit best. So mine is a 12-inch by 12 by 9 by 6. So it's 12 inches deep, which means now I've got 2 boxes. That's 24 inches, fits perfect on my shelf. I've got 9 inches going across. That gives me, for my shelf unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 boxes across at 9 inches each, and then 6 inches tall. So you may have a box that is 12 inches deep, and maybe you want to go 10 inches wide. Okay, so whatever size your unit is, just figure out how many inches you have and divide it and see how many boxes you can get on there. Okay, so I have opted to do this because I can utilize this. My room here is a bedroom. It's half of it is all my sliding shelves, and the other half is my work area. It's not very big, but you can see I've got over 16,000 pieces in this unit. Okay, it's a lot in a very small amount of space. So you can imagine how having a smaller inventory, you can do this and you can grow with it. Okay, so so I'm going to show you. So all of my units, all of my boxes have one number per box, except for my 300s, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you how this is how you can grow with your unit, your inventory. So my 300s, I have 4 numbers per box. This is 304 to 307, and look at here. There's really not that much in here either. So if you have a small inventory, you could start with 001 and put 5 numbers in your box if you want to, because you're not going to have a ton of stuff for your box. Now, my inventory is large, so I have to go 1 per box in those lower numbers because there's no way I can fit more than that, not in my size of box. I could get bigger boxes and fit more, but I would prefer to have 1 per box if I can. But once you get up to the 300s, you really don't have that much stuff. This is 4 different numbers in this one box. So once you get up to the 300 numbers, SKU numbers, you might even have 10 or 15 per box to start with. What I would suggest is using the cards or Post-its or whatever, these here, my little number cards here. I would use something that you can wipe. This is like whiteboard. You can wipe those off and renumber. So if you're starting out with a small inventory and you want to put 5 numbers per box, you can do that and then just wipe it off when you have when you start growing and maybe you need to condense or not condense, but expand. Maybe then you want to do 2 numbers per box, and you might have to reorganize a couple times as you grow if you're combining numbers. But you can totally do that with a small space. I mean, like I said, this is half of a bedroom with 1 number per box all the way up to the 300s. And this is how much space it takes. So if you were combining boxes, you could totally get away with doing this with a couple of units, with a small inventory. Okay, so it definitely can grow with you. And the really cool thing about this system is it is very easy to use. It really doesn't even matter what the name of it is, as long as you have the SKU number. Having a name helps when you're digging through the box and you know you need to look for, Locked in Love. It's a green necklace. You can grab the green necklace out of there and verify that it's the right one. But you don't have to. You can go with just the SKU number. So the other thing is this system will integrate with Shopify. Okay. Now Shopify, if you're not aware what Shopify is, it is a website platform that you can have, where you can have a web store, an online store. Okay. You don't have to utilize the store, but you can also use Shopify as a an inventory tracking system, and it uses the UPC or the Paparazzi SKU number also. Okay, so it's really, really cool. You can use a scan gun to scan your UPC or your SKU numbers. I always call them UPCs. Your SKU numbers into Shopify to look things up. It's really, really fast. And so it integrates with this system seamlessly. Okay, and it also will work with Comment Sold if you decide to ever use Comment Sold in the future. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. I'm going to show you a little bit about Shopify and how the SKU numbers work. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth with Shopify because it is pretty involved if you're going to do a web store, but I will show you how you can input your CSV files and add products to it, and then be able to keep track of your inventory that way. Okay, so and please, if you have any questions about Shopify or this system that I use for organizing, leave a comment below, message me, and I can try to answer your questions. Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about with this system other than it's amazing. I love it. It's so easy. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to come over here, share my screen, and get over to Shopify. Okay, so Shopify is, like I said, this is a website platform. You can have a web store. This is my online store. Oops. Okay, this is my online store. So you can actually go to my website and shop right here. And it takes everything right out of your inventory. So it is really, really nice to be able to do this. If somebody wants to buy, this particular hair clip, you can see it shows I have 5 of them. Now this is a feature for this particular web theme or website theme that I'm using. This particular part does not, it's not on everyone. But the nice thing is you can pick your theme for your website. Okay, so you don't have to use this theme. But as far as Shopify goes, you've got your quantities in there, so you know how many of everything you have. So you can see I have 5 of these particular hair clips left. Now let's go back over here. So here you can choose free themes from Shopify. And there's lots of different websites that you can set up here. You can pick and choose any of these themes to build your website. Okay. Now building your website again is going to, that's pretty involved. And that's where you're going to pick your colors. You're going to pick all of your images, like this kind of stuff. Okay, so I've got like my live sales on Facebook, talking about joining my team. Okay, so you're going to pick all of these images ahead of time before you do your website building, if that's what you want to do. So that's a little involved. You've got to set up your site with your product. You've got collections, you know, your categories, things like that. Here's some informational pages. If you want to join Paparazzi, and here's starter kits that we have. So you can read about the starter kit. Okay, so you want these informational pages on there too if you're going to have a web store. I mean, you don't have to, but if you're going to have a website, you should probably have some information about your product. But you don't have to do that. You can actually use it just as an inventory tracking system. So to do that, you're going to sign up for Shopify Lite. If you go to Shopify, there is a Shopify Lite at the very bottom of the page that shows where all your plans are. And you'll choose that. It's $99. You'll sign up for that. And then it's going to look very, very similar to this, okay? So you're going to have your home button here, which is going to give you just a little information about your items or your website and stuff. You're going to have your orders here, okay? So you can see all of your orders and whether they're fulfilled or not. You've got draft orders, where people can create draft orders. But really what we want to do is go to product. Okay, so when you go to product, here's all of my products that I either have or have had. Now, I have almost every paparazzi piece in my database, okay? It doesn't mean I have every piece, but I have it in the database. So if I were to come across a pair of these earrings that I don't have, I could look them up in my database from my products here and be able to add them very, very quickly. So the question is, how do you get all this information into Shopify? Okay, that is a job. It's a lot of work to manually enter your product into Shopify. And it's going to be like that for any website that you do, okay? It's just very time consuming. But Paparazzi has now supplied us with a CSV file for every order that we place, and it's going to make your life so much easier, okay? Whether you have a website, a web store, or you just have the website for your inventory tracking, okay? So let me show you how to do a product. Okay, so you're going to click on products, and you can see with this particular product, you've got your title, okay, right here. This is your title. You're going to enter a title, which is the name of your jewelry. Here's the description. Now, a quick tip, you can Google Fifth Avenue Appeal, and you can Google that and go to the Paparazzi website, or just wherever you can find it on Google to get this description, and then you can copy and paste it. So if I want to find this on Google, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go over here to Paparazzi accessories. I'm going to paste that right in there. And Fifth Avenue Appeal. Okay, here it is. And this one is the white one. Here's silver, so you want to make sure you get the right color. Here's white. Oh, look, brings up my own website. But this is just a Google. It could be anybody's website that it pulls up for Google search. But you can copy this information right here, and you can go back to your website and paste it right in to your box, right in here, okay? So you can actually get your descriptions right off of Google. Your images, same thing. If you do not have an image for your piece of jewelry, you can come back here again. You can, oh, you know what? This is multi. I was supposed to do white. Good thing I'm not copying and pasting. But pay attention to that, okay? Pay attention to your colors. Anyway, You can click on this and download the photos. Okay, click on each picture and click on download. Then you could come back here, download them to where you know you can find them. Then you can come back here and add media, and it's going to ask you where to go. So if you had it in your downloads somewhere, you could find it wherever, okay? So you can add your pictures. You're going to want to add your price, $5. We don't worry about the cost and all that stuff. You're going to add your SKU number. Now with your SKU number, remember, this is the 3-digit number that we use to organize our jewelry, okay? So you want to make sure you have the right SKU number or you're never going to find that piece of jewelry, okay? Very important. So here's where you can do that, a couple different things. You can take your piece of jewelry and you can type it in to this box. You can take a scanner and scan it into this box, okay? Or you can go to your, okay, go away. You can go to your search, and they actually have the SKU number on the Paparazzi website right here. You can copy that and you can paste it into your SKU box, okay? So there's a couple different ways you can find the SKU numbers, and that is how either get it right off the package of the jewelry, okay? Scan it, type it in, or Google the item and look for it there, okay? You're going to want to track your track your quantities. This is really important because this is how we keep track of our inventory. Track the quantity, and then here's the quantity available. Now, this is where you're going to need to have all of your stuff organized, okay? And you're gonna have to, when you first start this, you're gonna have to inventory all of your stuff. So it's going to be a job. So what I would suggest is having all of that ready, maybe having it on a spreadsheet so that you can do it quickly. But you'll want to enter however many of this item you have, you're going to enter right here. So if I had 3, I would enter 3. Okay, I don't have, so I'm not going to mess with that. It is a physical product, so you want to make sure that's checked because you're going to require shipping for it, okay? I have a flat rate shipping, so I just leave the weight at 0. You're going to come up here. You're going to make your product available by clicking here. You can have it on your online store if that's what you're going to do. Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. Okay, if you're not going to have an online store, you don't need to have the product availability checked. Okay, you just leave it like it is. Your product type. Now, some of this information is provided for you through the CSV, and I'll show you that. But if you're hand entering, manually entering, you're going to change your product type to type it into whatever you want. I have several different types here that I can choose from. The vendor is going to be either your business name or Paparazzi. I have my business name. You're going to assign it to a collection. Now, collections are categories. That's where you're going to see your categories on your front-facing website if you have one. So if I wanted to find these earrings, I'd need to put them under earrings, okay, in the category. And then tags. If you want people to be able to search your website, you want to have some keywords for your tags. These take forever, okay? So you can see that it is quite a long process to do, but Paparazzi takes a lot of that stuff and does it for us now, which is really, really awesome. So let me show you how to find your CSV, okay? You're going to go to your Paparazzi back office. You're going to go to Profile, go to Complete Order History. You can also find it here, My Order History down here, okay? So these are my orders that I've placed, and you're going to click into your order. Okay, you're going to scroll down to the bottom, and right here, this is where you can get your images. So what I would suggest is download your images into a folder. Maybe name the folder this date, the date of this order. And then you're going to download your CSV file also. Maybe move it into the same file so that you can, you know, if you only have time to do some downloading and not putting it into Shopify first, you could do a lot of these downloads, put them into folders and organize that first. Then you can go into import and do it fairly quickly, okay? But regardless, you're gonna order export your CSV, and I'm gonna show you what this looks like. You're gonna click on your CSV, and here is what you get, okay? So you get, separate these, open them up just a little bit. So you get this is the title of, or the name of the item. This is more for your HTML, I believe. Your title is right here. Okay, so you've got your title, Fiercely Fifth Avenue, Fiercely Fifth Avenue. These little keywords here are what makes Shopify work basically with the CSV file. You've got the body. This is your description. So if you're using your CSV file from Paparazzi, you don't have to go and copy paste your description. It's already in here. Your vendor's already in here. Your type is in here as just jewelry. You might want to change that if you want to. You can always manually change it later. Here is your SKU number. Okay, so this is the SKU number. Again, that 3-digit number right here is what you will file your jewelry under. Okay, so when I get this box of jewelry in, this particular piece of jewelry is going to go in the 069 box. Okay, so that is going to be what you see in Shopify as well. Okay, so then you've got, this is your prices, you've got your images in here. So you don't even have to go and download images because Paparazzi provides that for us. Okay, so let's, let me see. I was going to do, these are fashion fix. I don't want to do a fashion fix, but I will show you how to import. Let me get rid of all these because I'm going to do just one item. Okay, so country colors. It's a brown leather band bracelet. Okay, so if I want to import my CSV file, I'm going to download it from Paparazzi like I just did. Okay, I'm going to save this. Okay, as do 9720 order test. That. Okay, now, rid of that. Oh, it was that. Oh my gosh, I have a whole bunch of stuff open. Okay, so you're gonna go back to Shopify and you're gonna go to products and you're gonna go right to import, right here to import, okay? You're going to add the file that you just saved. And mine was 97, should be, where did it go? Where did my file go? Let me search. Oh my gosh. Ah, my computer is so delayed. Oy. Takes a second for some reason. Grief. Why is it not finding it? Okay, now my computer's stuck, so give me just a second. There we go. So let's do all files. That might help. There it is. Jeez Louise. Okay, so I'm going to add this file. Oh, it's not a CSV. Okay, well, I'm not going to waste time showing you. So when you save that file, when you download that file, I'm not going to upload it because I've already uploaded those pieces, so I don't want to do it twice. But anyway, you're going to go to import, you're going to add the file, you're going to click overwrite any current product because you don't want to get duplicates, okay? So you want to make sure that that's checked, because if you do try to upload the same item, it's not going to overwrite everything, and it's not going to cause duplicates, okay? It's going to combine them. So check that, check upload and continue. Once you do that, actually, let me show you. I'm not going to actually do it, but I'll get to the next step at least. Okay, so upload it, or you're going to check that, upload and continue. Okay, it's going to think for a second. This is a big file, so it's going to take a minute. Okay, so it says you're importing a file into Shopify. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is some of the information that's going to go in. And then you're going to click import product. Okay, so once you click that, it's going to take a few minutes. I mean, if it's a small file, it's only going to take a few minutes. If it's a bigger file, it might take a little while longer. Okay, but what it's going to do is it is going to put in exactly what, so this would be exactly what it looked like when it uploads, okay? You're gonna have all of this information already in there. You don't even have to do anything else. Now, your tags are not gonna be in there because I have something that I use to get the tags in, but all this other stuff is going to be in there. Now, you have to go back in to add your quantities, okay? The quantity is not in the Paparazzi CSV file, because I could have ordered 50 of these and you might have ordered 5 of those. So you don't want your quantities in there, or they don't put the quantities in there. You do have to go in and do that later. So once you get those all uploaded, you can go back to your order and you can find the item. So if I had just uploaded this particular item, I could see that I got 3 of those. I can go back in and enter my quantity right here. Then it's going to ask you to save it. Just save the file or save this product, and you're done. That's it. That's how you can get stuff into Shopify super fast. Now, again, remember, doing it manually, one at a time, is super time consuming. But using the new CSV file that Paparazzi is providing for us will go very, very fast. Okay. So once you get all your product into Shopify, you're going to have a whole list of everything that you've got. You're going to have quantities in here of all the stuff that you have, okay? The really cool thing is, if you want to look for something, I don't think I have a scanner in here, do I? I don't. The really cool thing is, if you want to look something up, if you have a scanner, you can go to your search right here and scan it in, and it'll populate with the UP or the SKU number, okay? It'll populate and then it'll automatically look it up. Okay, so say I just scanned this number in. So it's gonna bring up anything with this SKU number, okay? Or with the similar, like 083. So now you just look at whatever one it was. If it's crystal chandeliers, you'll see that you had it. You can also, this is called Locked in Love. You don't have to have a scanner. Locked in Love, look at here. It comes, I've got blue, green, and red. And you can see I don't have any more red, I don't have any more blue, but I do have 9 green ones. So if a customer asks you, do you have that Locked in Love necklace in green? You could look it up super fast in your inventory, whether you have the website store or you don't. Even if you have Shopify Lite, you do have this portion of it, okay? This feature, this functionality. So you can look it up in your inventory and you can look and say, oh yes, I have 9 of them. So you can see at a glance quickly what you have in inventory. Then if you somebody wants it, you can click in here You can see it's going to be in bin number 207 right here. I'm going to go straight to my 207 bin, which is, this happens to be right here. Okay. And it's right there. Right there. I got 9 of them right there. Super, super easy. So fast. So when you are filling orders, you can look them up really, really quickly. Now, if you are filling orders from Shopify as a website, your invoice is going to print. Actually, let me show you somebody's invoice. Let's go this one. Your invoice is actually going to have your SKU number right here. Okay, so that is what you're going to use to fill your orders. What I do is I print out this invoice. I take a shoebox, and this is her order. This is this customer's order. I look up on the printed invoice, I look up the SKU number so I know that this person needs 081 and it's Demurely Divine. I'm going to go straight to my boxes here in my room. 81 is right here. Okay, here's my number 81 box. I'm looking for Demurely Divine. What is that, a silver earring? Demurely Divine, right there. That is literally how fast it is to fill an order. Then you just go on to the next, number 171. You're going to look for top tier twinkle blue bracelet. Super, super fast. I take it, toss it into a shoebox. As I'm filling her order, it literally takes a couple minutes per order to fill. So easy. Before, I was digging in bins. Actually, these are heavy. Before, I was digging in bins like this. Let me show you real quickly. So this bin down here, you see those? I have my envelopes in there now, but you could see I still have my tag, white. This was my white jewelry. I would have to open up that bin and dig through there until I found what I was looking for. Okay, so those are the types of bins I used to use. Now, it's so faster. So much faster, you guys. All right, so anyway, this is so easy. And like I said, you do get access to all of this if you're doing an online store. With Shopify Lite, you won't have the orders, but you still have access to your product, okay? So you still have this inventory tracking system. And, you know, you can, if you sell one of these on Facebook, you can come up with a system yourself to take it out of your inventory. But honestly, I would suggest an online store. The plan for the smallest online store is $29 a month, and it is well worth the money because you do get all of that inventory tracking, but you also get the online store. It's a website that anybody can access 24 hours a day. You can get orders while you sleep, okay? I'm gonna stop the sharing. Okay, there we go. So I would suggest an online store because it is excellent. And like I said, you can get orders while you're sleeping, but if nothing else, use the Shopify Lite for your inventory tracking. It is so much easier. This number system, so much faster, okay? But that is how I keep track of my jewelry. Like I said, I struggled and struggled and struggled for a lot of years. I don't want you guys to have to struggle like I did. And I know a lot of us paparazzi girls, you know, inventory-based businesses are difficult because you do have to keep your inventory straight and be able to find stuff. This is going to solve that problem for you without you having to go through all the years that some of us did trying to find a system that works. This works, you guys. It really does. So anyway, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. If you like this and you found value out of this and you'd like to see more of my trainings, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I do upload new training videos periodically, and I am always happy to help out. If you are interested in paparazzi, if you're not already a consultant and you're interested in selling paparazzi, please let me know and I'll get you some information on how to get started and get started the right way so that we can get you on the right track right out of the gate, so that you're not, like I said, struggling to figure out how to get it started and make a go of it in the beginning, okay? All right, well, make sure to message me your questions if you have them, and thank you so much for watching. All right, bye-bye.